Rebels is one of my favorite Star Wars things that's ever happened. Like I had some issues with the end, with it towards the end, but like Rebels was so damn good. And a lot of that I think had to do with so many of the performances of so many of the actors. Um, and I think it's a shame we're not going to get to see the resolution of so many of those character stories as portrayed by those actors. And in the medium of storytelling that so many of us fell in love with those characters.
Got it.
My tea.
Yeah. Well, Filoni's moved on to live action, and it seems like he's really pulling in a lot of stuff that he created within the animation, or him and George created within the animation, and he's pulling these elements into these live action shows. It's almost, I know some people would say to a fault, right? Like now that he's involved in so much, suddenly all these characters are popping up. Whereas if he wasn't involved, it would be less likely probably that we'd be seeing so many of these characters popping up. Even the fact that Ahsoka's getting her own show is, probably pretty driven by the fact that he's so involved at a high creative level.
I think Filoni is still superior in terms of directing when it comes to animation. I'm sure I'll get in trouble with someone for this. I really don't think he's there as a live action director yet. And one of the problems I did have with Mandalorian season 2 was that they kept bringing in more and more and more. And it felt like every week I had to have a phone call with my mother to explain to her who people were. Now, I don't think you should never bring in characters in live action. I think actually Bo-Katan was great. I think she made sense, it felt natural. Some of the other things, though, I was like, this just feels, to me, it felt forced. And I think some CG renderings of characters is an atrocity, but I'm sorry, we're at the tea drinking portion of this episode. I'll just shut up now. Continue on.
Yeah, so being in the room so I wasn't in the main room when they were showing this stuff. I was in one of the overflow rooms, but it was up on the big screen. And just seeing them talk about, okay, Ahsoka's coming, and we've been filming for 3 weeks. They introduced the actress that's playing Sabine, which I'm forgetting her last name now, but I know her first name's Natasha
Liu, I think Bordozo. It's something Italian.
Yeah, and so they introduced her, which if you had been paying attention, you probably already knew that she was going to play that character, but not everybody knew. And then they said, okay, we have something to show you guys. So they've only been filming for 3 weeks, but they, I guess, took the time to get some key shots to make sure they had, I guess you could call it teaser more than anything else. And they did show a little bit from the show, and it was cool. You see, Ahsoka walking around pretty much, showing the back of characters a lot. You see Hera, and then at the end they show Sabine and walking, and once again you only see her from behind, but she's got that kind of iconic look, so you recognize her right away. And then she goes and touches that kind of picture of the painting, I guess, on the wall with all the characters, and she touches next to where Ezra is, I guess, kind of as an indication as to what we may expect to see her and Ahsoka doing, looking for Ezra. So I know, as a huge fan of Rebels.
Her last name is Bordizo, by the way, and I'm deeply appreciating that apparently she's also half Chinese and half Italian. So,
well, there you go.
Respect from a fellow Chinese-Italian mixed girl.
Yeah. And she does, she definitely looks the part, right? And I think that she'll do well. I don't know her from anything else. I looked her up, and she's been in some other things. I just have never seen her before. But it'll be exciting, I guess, to see her play Sabine. And like you, I was a huge fan of Rebels, and I thought they did such a great job with that show. So I think I'm excited about seeing the characters getting pulled into live action as a big fan of Rebels. But I could see people that are not as versed in the Star Wars canon and not knowing what's going on, being like, wait, why is this character so important, or why should I be excited about this character? But for me, it was cool to see her, and I am really excited to see what they do with kind of the whole Ezra storyline, because I was really getting into what they were doing at the end of Rebels, and especially Ezra. Like, kind of, he came around. He was a character I didn't really like at the beginning, and then it was like, oh, he's kind of becoming this cool Jedi. What's going on with him? What's going on with Thrawn? So I am excited for Ahsoka. I will be watching it.